Hey everyone, this is Tony, Tainted Lord 87, and here's the fourth episode of Have You Heard This, where I pick out 6 random albums from my collection and ask my viewers if they heard them or not, and talk a little bit about them. So let's get the fourth episode rolling. The first one I chose is a band that I know nobody has ever heard of or talk about, but a band that I think more people should be talking about. And that band is Necropolis. And this is the self-titled debut album. Now, Necropolis are a Canadian death metal band from the 90s that's almost like virtually unknown. Like I never heard anyone ever talk about this band, and just from the just from the album, you can tell this is an underground, underrated band. This album came out back in 1986, and like I said, they're like a death metal band. But when I listen to it, it sounds like they were very influenced by Obituary, because this album really reminds me of Obituary's Slowly Reward or Cause of Death. And while it's not like a ripoff or anything, but the blend of death metal really reminds me of Obituary and those two albums, Slowly Reward, and Cause of Death. And I'll post a link to where you can hear this album in full. And I'm not sure where you can find this because, like I said, this is like a unrated underground release. In fact, I actually found this album at a flea market last year. But yeah, if you're into some solid death metal, I definitely recommend check out Necropolis and their debut album, the self-titled album. And also, this is the one and only release that this band has ever released, according to the Metal Archives. So yeah, this is a really rare album. If you can find it, definitely check it out. So yeah, Necropolis and the one and only debut album, the self-titled album. Really solid death metal, in my opinion. And like I said, I'm going to post a link to this album in full in the description box. So yeah, that's Necropolis and the self-titled album. Okay, next up is a French gothic metal band that I don't hear anyone ever talk about, and I know I talked about this band before, but I'm going to give them another mention, and that's Penumbra and the album The Last Bewitchment. Yeah, like I said, they're like a French gothic metal band that blends female vocals and some harsh male vocals, and has elements a bit of doom metal, just a tiny bit, but it's mostly just a solid gothic metal album through and through. It can be very heavy, whimsical, ethereal, and just a solid album overall. So if you never heard of Penumbra, I definitely recommend checking this band out and the album The Last Bewitchment. This is just a solid gothic metal album that more people should be hearing, knowing about, and talking about. So that's Penumbra's The Last Bewitchment, a solid gothic metal album. And speak about gothic metal, here's a band that I think blends doom metal with a bit of gothic metal. Just a tiny bit of gothic metal, but they're mainly a doom metal band. And that's Enchantment in the debut album Dance the Marble Naked. Now I've talked about this band before, but I'm going to give them another mention because Enchantment is just a really underrated, underappreciated doom metal band that's mostly, like I said, doom metal, but has some gothic metal touches here and there. And um this used to be the one and only full length album that this band had in their discography, because this album originally released back in 1994, and this is a Peaceville Records reissue that I got. But luckily, they actually did a follow up to this album. Yeah, they did a follow up to this album in 2021 called Cold Soul Embrace. So yeah, if you never heard of Enchantment, I definitely recommend checking this album out and the following album, Cold Soul Embrace. If you want some seriously heavy, enjoyable doom metal that just crushes your soul, I definitely recommend checking out Enchantment's Dance the Marble Naked and the 2021 follow-up, Cold Soul Embrace. This album is just a solid album, and anyone who's into doom metal will instantly love this. I personally did. So, yeah, this is Enchantment's Dance the Marble Naked, a terrific debut album from this band. Okay, next up is another French band I don't hear anyone talk about, and I know I'm going to butcher the band's name and album title because I'm not a native French speaker, but I'm going to try. And the band's called Deja Mort, and the album title is La Mort dans la Main. Now I've talked about this band before, but I'm going to give them another mention because I think this band might appeal to fans who's into like hardcore metalcore, and that's the style of music that they play on this one. If you like bands like Hatebreed, Madball, Agnostic Front, Throwdown, or any hardcore metalcore sounding band, Deja Mort's Le Mort de l'Homme, sorry if I butchered the title, is going to appeal to those fans of that kind of music. Like I said, they play a blend of hardcore and metalcore, and the vocalist actually has this vicious bark to her voice that makes this stand out in my ears. Yeah, the vocalist is female, but her vicious barks makes this album stand out in my opinion. Her vocals really make this album pretty unique, at least to me. But yeah, Deja Mort's La Mort Dans La Main is a solid hardcore metalcore sounding album, and yeah, definitely check this band out and this album out. And the last two albums I think people may have heard about, but I'm going to talk about them, and that's Killswitch Engage, Incarnate. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Killswitch Engage are, and Incarnate is just a solid metalcore album. When it comes to Killswitch Engage, you kind of know what to expect, kind of know what they sound like, and they deliver. This album is uh, a good balance of being melodic and quite brutal riff wise. And yeah, they're just one of the better metalcore bands that's going on today, and Incarnate is just a solid metalcore album. Hard, heavy, riff driven, and will appeal to fans of metalcore. So that's Killswitch Engage, Incarnate. A very good album from them. And the last album I'm going to show off in this episode is Lamb of God, Sacrament. I think pretty much everybody knows who Lamb of God are, and Sacrament is just another solid album in the discography. If you're into like groove metal, metalcore, and a bit of thrash thrown in, Lamb of God's Sacrament is an awesome album. It's very brutal vocally, and riff wise is crushingly good. Just a really good album from Lamb of God. So yeah, Lamb of God's Sacrament is a very good groove metal, metalcore album with some thrash thrown in. So yeah, Lamb of God's Sacrament. Good stuff. And that would be episode 4 of Heavy Hood This. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And like I said, I'm going to post links to the first album that I show in the description box down below to check out. And look forward to another episode of Heavy Hood This. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.